What's up, everyone? This is our presentation about Mig. Let's get it.
Today, we are talking about Miguan, one of the most important characters in The Marrow Thieves by Sherry DeMaline. Miguan is the heart, the protector, and the spiritual leader of the group. He teaches them how to survive, not just in the wild, but in a world that wants to erase them. He protects their culture like it's a part of him, and when everything falls apart, he's the one who keeps them together. He's a man who has lived through immense loss, but instead of letting that break him, he turned his pain into guidance, strength, and wisdom, not just for himself, but for everyone around him. Mig doesn't just want to keep people alive, he helps them survive in a way that still honors their culture, language, and humanity. In this presentation, we'll show how Miguan's strength, leadership, and emotional depth are what truly keeps the group and their hope alive. We'll explore how his presence shapes the story and the people within it. Miguan's role as the group's leader is one of the most essential elements of the novel, but his leadership isn't loud or forceful, it's careful.
And Mig gave us a reason to keep moving forward. He provided us with protection and safety.
In the novel, Mig consistently emphasizes caution and silence. For example, he tells the group, "We don't light big fires, we don't show, we keep moving." This shows how his survival approach is built on staying under the radar and on avoiding detection at all costs. He has seen what happens to people who get caught by the recruiters. That past trauma informs him about every decision he makes. His leadership style is not about domination, it's about protecting life. He's a leader who always puts the safety of the group above his own needs. What makes Mig especially powerful is that he balances strength with thoughtfulness. He doesn't take risk unless he has to. He teaches the younger characters that being strong also means being smart, being quiet, and understanding that survival takes discipline. He embodies strength not through violence, but through control, strategy, and emotional stability. Even though we mostly learn about Isaac through Mig's memories, this quote gives us a glimpse into who Isaac was and the life Mig once had. When Isaac says, "My husband is a healer, he can have a look at you both," Isaac said proudly, placing a hand on my shoulder. I sighed. We see a moment filled with love, pride, and a time when Mig had family, safety, and purpose. This flashback reminds us that Mig wasn't always on the run. He had a home, a partner, and a future. That makes his loss even more painful. It's not just that Isaac was taken, it's that everything they built together was destroyed. The sigh that follows this memory shows how heavy it is for Mig to even remember it. But instead of letting that heartbreak consume him, he uses it as a reason to keep going, to make sure no one else loses what he did. Mig's strength comes not from being cold or detached, but from remembering what love and family felt like and fighting to give that back to others.
Hi everyone, my name is Sufyan and these are my two quotes.
Another huge part of Mig's role is his teaching. He doesn't just lead, he prepares others to lead. He knows that he won't be there forever, so he teaches the group how to survive on their own. He pushes them to improve. Hunting, traveling silently, reading signs, and building shelters. When he tells the boys, "You need to work on your hunting," he's not being hard on them, he's showing them love. He's preparing them for a future where they have to rely on themselves. This is one of the most important aspects of Mig's leadership. He doesn't make people dependent on him. He builds their independence so they can survive without him one day. That is true leadership, empowering others, not controlling them. Thanks to Mig, the group is not just running and hiding. They are learning, growing, and getting stronger. His teaching ensures that the culture and knowledge will outlive him. Even though Miguan leads with strength, he's not emotionless. In fact, one of the most powerful things about his character is how he carries deep emotional pain while continuing to lead and protect. His most personal and haunting loss is the loss of his husband, Isaac, who was taken by the recruiters. Mig doesn't talk about Isaac often, but when he does, you can feel the weight of that memory. At one point, he says, "No, I'm more tired of missing Isaac, is all. Just an old man with an old love, I guess." This small moment shows just how deeply he's grieving, but also shows how that grief motivates him to protect others from suffering the same fate. Later in the novel, when Mig breaks down and whispers Isaac's name, we see just how fragile he is underneath. But what's important is that even when he falls apart, He gets back up. He doesn't let his grief paralyze him. Instead, he turns that pain into strength. Mig shows us that real strength doesn't mean never crying. It means feeling deeply and still choosing to keep going. His emotional side makes him more human and more relatable. He isn't just a leader. He's a person who has lived through terrible things and still finds the courage to protect others.
Taught me how to be proud of who I am.
Hi everybody, my name is Tristan and these are my 2 quotes.
Mig1 isn't just the leader of the group, he's also a mentor and guider. The quote, "We are lucky we had Mig to learn instead of Manera to babysit." This shows the difference between being watched over and truly being taught. Manera only cared for the group like a grandmother would, but Mig actively prepared them for survival. He didn't treat them like helpless kids, he gave them responsibilities, taught them how to move through the world carefully, and also made sure they understood what was at stake. Mig didn't focus just on protecting them in the moment, he focused on making sure that they could survive in the future, without him. That is what made his leadership so powerful. He believes in teaching through experience and examples. He turned fear into focus, and instead of sheltering them, he made them ready. Through Meg's guidance, the group learned that survival wasn't just about hiding. It was about learning, adapting, and staying stronger together. My second quote, Mig1, emotional strength is just as important as his leadership. Throughout the novel, he keeps his feelings controlled to protect the group. But there's moments where his emotions break through, and one powerful example is when he sees Isaac again, and he says, Mig opened his mouth, the movement unhinged his legs and fell to his knees, knocking down the garage so even much as chaff. He held his hands out, palms turning upwards in a slow ballet. Isaac, this shows how deeply Mig cares, even if he didn't always show it. His love and grief have been with him the whole time, and in this moment we can see how much he's been caring.
Hi everyone, I'm Rob, and I just wanted everyone to know that Mig, he was there for all of us. He helped us do everything, especially when we were hurting. He never gave up on us. He always kept everyone close, and he was that leader that we needed. We needed him the most. He was always there for us. Thank you.